Get some of this business out the way, because
22-year-old man who was experiencing a mental crisis was shot by NYPD officers in Queens a week ago yesterday. Police say the man lunged at the officers with a knife and then refused to drop it.
The mayor says he's now visited the wounded man and his family, and the mayor now promising to release police body camera video today. Well, the mayor also says the man should not be prosecuted. This as the mayor now pushes for a new agency to deal with the mentally ill and the homeless.
Eyewitness News reporter NJ Burkett is live in Briarwood, Queens with our lead story tonight. NJ.
And right, Liz, outside the young man's home here in Briarwood, Queens. Yes, the mayor says he has visited with the wounded man and his family, and he says he has serious concerns, serious questions about how this whole shooting played out. He's questioning the protocols, which he insists need to change. He says what happened here is a case in point.
NYPD officers arrived at the home within minutes of the 911 call. The parents of 22-year-old Jabez Chuck Roberts.
you know, and I love that. And I'm going to give props where props is due. Within minutes of the call, they were on the scene. And we got to applaud that, because it's been so many times people have called the cops and they don't even come, or they'll come, especially up north. And I'm from up north, so I know, I mean, you have situations when they'll call the cops in certain areas they won't go to. In certain areas, they show up like freaking late and it's done. And then you can't carry in some of those areas. So you got to do what you got to do. So I applaud NYPD for showing up on time. You would figure that Mamdani would have led with that, but he didn't. He just begins to criticize the protocol, which at the same time, I know we can improve the protocol of our police officers. Don't get it twisted. They do a lot, and we can improve the protocol of it. But when you drag your police force in front of everybody, that's where I got an issue. That's my issue.
Said he was in emotional distress and needed medical attention. Immediately after the shooting, police released images.
Did y'all look at his eyes? Yeah, I could have tell that boy was in emotional distress. You see his eyes? That boy eyes look like, bro. He look like look at that. Look at it. Look at the way they all like that. They look like he's staring right into the camera. Those eyes look like they got a lot going on. It's a lot of shit going up in his head right now. You could tell. Bro. Let's go.
Mamdani today questions the protocols that led up to the shooting.
I visited Jabez in the hospital, and there is no family should have to endure this kind of pain. Jabez has lived with schizophrenia for many years, and this situation underscores just how urgently we need a different and more effective mental health response system that will be safer for New Yorkers who struggle with mental health concerns, for their families, and for police officers. Jabez needs mental health treatment, not criminal prosecution by a district attorney.
The young man's family is furious. We are shocked and outraged, they said in a statement. We called 911 for an ambulance to provide medical attention for our son, who is in emotional distress. We did not call the police. Instead of medical responders, the NYPD arrived and shot our son multiple times right in front of us.
This situation is to me, is very interesting. It's sticky, because when you call the police and you tell them somebody's spazzing out and they ask you if they have a weapon, and you say they have a weapon, it's a knife, it's my son, and they show up, by the time you mention there's a weapon, they're not just bringing the ambulance. MTs can't disarm him and calm him down. They can't do that. That's not the job of an MT. That's not. You got to bring in police officers. So when I get what Mamdani is saying, Mamdani, I get it. Okay, I get it. What the socialist is saying. We need some other network for people that aren't violent, but you got a knife, so you are violent. Like, you may not, some of these guys will kill and stab their own family. They've done it before. We've got numerous stories of it. It's not something that's brand new. Okay. You've got enough kids that were raised in the same home with their parents, and they spazzed out. We've seen documentaries of them killing and shooting or shooting them. So you can't neglect and say, oh, cops didn't need to show up. Oh, and that's the socialist fairy tale I'm dealing with. Instead of him saying, hey, listen, why don't we put together a crew to ride with the police officers and the MTs so they can intervene in situations to see, based on the people calling them in situations, if they have some mental issues going on. Now, granted, any nigga that kills anybody, you got mental issues going on. But I don't know why. Everybody that creates a crime that involves killing people, picking up knives, and doing those things, that is a mental imbalance, unless you're turning around and defending yourself in a hostile situation. Okay? So any of that, when you start threatening, that's all mental imbalance. So you mean to tell me that everybody goes to the sane asylum? Okay? Everybody? It's not like that, because the stress that comes on officers when they roll up at a situation like that and they got to choose if this person is a threat or not a threat, you can't put them in that situation. That's why New York is already down 800 to 1,000 police officers. They're flying very, very thin right now. And Joker wants them to fly more. Okay.
The mayor today was not critical specifically of the first responders, but suggested the appearance of the officers might have escalated the situation.
That is why
the appearance of the officers made it bad.
I proposed creating a Department of Community Safety to build a mental health system rooted in prevention.
Oh, this nigga. See, he already said they got a $12 million deficit. Now he want to add, let's take it up for another 1,000.
Congratulations. Well done.
Let's do that. Just another 1,000. Just another 1,000. That's it. 100,000. Well, couple million. Let's do another couple million. That's what we doing. Always creating shit on nobody, or whose dime, who's paying for it. He already trying to raise money. Who paying for it, Zohran?
In sustained care and real crisis response. So officers no longer have to handle these situations alone. As I've said, when there is a violent situation, such as with a weapon, NYPD will be on the scene.
Former NYPD Chief of Detectives Robert Boyce.
That's true. If you're going to send only medical professionals there, understand that it's a changing dynamic. Quickly, they can pick up a weapon and charge at them.
Nope.
What are they going to do then? How are they going to defend themselves? That's why the police have to go to these things. Now, if you want to pair them off with the medical professional, that's fine.
And as Bill said a moment ago, we are still awaiting the release of body cam video from the first NYPD responders on the scene. Now, the chief, as you heard a moment ago, says these kind of encounters can escalate quickly, although they don't always. No comment from the Queen's DA's office on charges.
Anyway, whatever, charges. How are you going to bring charges against them?
Breaking news into our newsroom.
This is another one.
Police
Let's see the footage of it.
Body camera.
This is the footage of it. This is the footage of it. Now, to give you guys more context, okay? They called the police. The police. They called the meds, the MTs. The police show up with the MTs. When you show up and you got a weapon, they not sitting back trying to figure out what's gonna happen. They just order people to disarm. And I'm 100% with that, man. I'm 100% with them turning around and having some type of other ride along. They can't even afford to bring 800 additional cops on. How the hell are they gonna do a ride along crew that's supposed to be present for stuff like this? This is the wackiness I talk about. This is the fairy tale. They need this. I'm not saying that we don't need to correctly evaluate these people, but you don't need to sit back and think that these guys aren't non-violent people. Like, I'm sure there's a history of something like this. I may be wrong. Leave a comment if you know more about the story. Let's go.
Video that shows the shooting of a 22-year-old Queens man armed with a knife. It shows the moments after the officers entered the home. And Mayor Mamdani said this incident makes the case for changing the way the city responds to mental health calls. But political reporter Marcia Kramer says the mayor admits he's still in the process of figuring out when cops need to be part of the equation.
Investigators were seen going in and out.
Cops need to always be part of the equation.
A building in the Briarwood section of Queens last week after police critically shot a 22-year-old wielding a knife. The shooting of Jabaz Chakraborty became a test case of the mayor's resolve to change the way the city responds to cases involving so-called EDPs, emotionally disturbed people. The mayor is saying he has sympathy for the man, whose family sources tell CBS News New York.
EDP, emotionally disturbed people? Is that a new that's been around for a while? Is it brand new? You tell me. Did they just coin that phrase? Because it's a lot of emotionally disturbed motherfuckers out this place.
Congratulations, okay? Well done.
I'm sorry. I said I'm not going to cuss as much. I'm going to scale back. You know what I'm saying? I know Holy Spirit don't want me to cuss as much. I'm working. He is working on me, okay? And I'm almost hitting that hour of this, so let me keep going.
Had called 911 asking for an involuntary removal of their son. Jabaz had a history of mental health issues and was throwing glass against the wall.
No family should have to endure this kind of pain.
The mayor is using the incident to speed up his campaign promise to develop a Department of Community Safety where mostly social workers respond to these types of 911 calls.
Jabez needs mental health.
I didn't know he said mostly social workers. Maybe the newscast, they're inflating this so much. Mostly social workers need to respond to this. Them jokers gonna get their ass whipped, bro. I ain't lying.
Not criminal prosecution by a district attorney. And that is why I proposed creating a Department of Community Safety.
During the campaign, Mamdani said he would send teams of mental health professionals to respond to 911 calls like this. Today, he said police would also be included if...
When there is a violent situation, such as with a weapon, NYPD will be on the scene.
Hold on, slow back. He had a knife. Did he just have a knife? Did he just not have a knife? Did they not call and say he had a knife? That is not violent? Could he not have stabbed his parents? Could he not have stabbed a social worker that's tried to take him? You bringing jiu-jitsu artists in here? Are we talking about MMA social workers? I mean, are we talking about self-defense? Dude, are they going to self-defense classes? Do they carry guns? Now, if they carry guns, are they still social workers? See, this is the loony part right here. This is the make you feel good, so you feel good on the inside, and you're like, yeah, not everybody needs this. Oh my goodness. No. You can bring a social worker, but you damn well better have a cop, because you don't know what they carrying and you don't know what they got. I met a bunch of crazy behind MMA fighters, crazy behind jiu-jitsu artists, martial artists. They crazy, and some of them schizo already. So you mean to tell me they use it to calm their schizophrenia?
Congratulations, well done.
They use the art to calm their schizophrenia. And I've seen them smoke weed and do it too. I'm like, oh gosh, y'all really calm. We should not have any violence right now.
Oh no.
But you mean to tell me that that's it? That's what you...
About when cops would be sent, because in this case, the 911 call didn't indicate a weapon. How do you determine when the police can arrive if the initial call doesn't say he's got a gun, he's got a knife?
A lot of this is exactly the focus of the conversations that we're having internally in developing out this Department of Community Safety.
AKA, I don't know. I just like my idea, and I think it looks fly, and I want you guys to participate in it because it makes me look good. And we got to safer New York.
Additionally, I want to make clear that a person experiencing a mental health episode does not always have to be served first or exclusively by a police officer.
Marcia, any indication of a timeline here, how long it will take the mayor to set up this Office of Community Safety?
Well, you know, it's really unclear, but the mayor said that because of this incident, he's asked his staff to try to speed up the process.
But he campaigned on this during the campaign. You know, he promised that this is going to be a better deal, better for New Yorkers, to keep even officers safe. So what's the holdup?
Well, you know, Christine, there are a lot of scenarios he has to consider, but remember one thing, he wants to get it right, because the last thing he wants to do is see a social worker show up, the scene turns violent, and the person gets injured. But here's the possibility. He could decide to go through the city council, because already Councilman Lincoln Ressler has introduced a bill to set it up, but then he'd have to negotiate with the city council. Now, we could also try to do it by executive order. Either way, he has to find somebody to head the office.
All right, so 2 avenues as possibilities.
Indeed.
Okay, thank you, Marcia.
Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, whatever. Never whatever to the fact that it needs to be done, but more whatever to the fact that, homie, you just, you're missing it. You're missing it. You're missing it.